Well, Prince William and Prince Harry reportedly avoided each other in a surprise joint appearance at their uncle's memorial service late last week.
Patricia Treble is joining us right now for another Royal Roundup. Let's begin there with this surprise appearance. What more can you tell us?
So we'd been told that Harry wasn't going to come for security reasons, and he did. I think it was simply the timing. They delayed the memorial service so that he could come. He has to give, to be considered for police protection, he has to give 28 days notice. And this was deliberately after that. So we know it was held just outside the royal estate at Sandringham. That's where Robert Fellows, who is his uncle, married to Diana's sister, grew up. And it was very private, very quiet. It was really just a lot of the Spencer family who were there, and a lot of family and friends from the local area. And we know that, because they interviewed the vicar, that Harry and William were there. They were seated with cousins separately. No interaction whatsoever, not even at the reception afterwards at their Aunt Jane's place nearby. So, you know, putting things aside for family, I mean, that's what you do. But still, definitely the deep freeze.
And we're also hearing this morning that Harry stayed with Charles Spencer.
Yeah, so he stayed. Yeah, he stayed at the Spencer estate, which is called Althorp House, which is the biggest palace you've ever seen. Really, it's a massive mansion, and he stayed there afterwards. So again, obviously for security reasons, I think. You know, so he's always been very, very close to the Spencer side of the family. So that is continuing.
Okay. Is this playing into, because there are reports that Harry is plotting, quote, a return from exile. That he is actually looking to return to the UK, and is a turn to friends and former aides for some help?
Yeah, so this was a really deeply sourced piece in the Mail on the weekend. One friend called it Operation Bring Harry In From the Cold. I'm thinking, okay. 3 parts to it. So Harry spending more time in the UK, this seemed to fall into it, repairing his relationship with his father, and perhaps doing some low-key royal duties. I'm going to say it sounds very ambitious because there are a few issues with that. First of all, the security. He's fighting the British government in court about it, and he wants his dad to help him in that fight, and his dad won't, and that's why they're not talking. And the third thing is return to royal duties. He still has all his commercial engagements, so that's the half-in, half-out system that he wanted and Meghan wanted, that the late Queen said no to. No surprise today, there was a bit of a rowback. Royal duties apparently off the table. But we do know that he does want to repair his relationship at some point. I mean, it's going to have to come, I think, just a matter of time. The other thing that nobody seems to mention is, well, if he's spending more time in Britain, what happens to Meghan and their children? They're very young children. Archie just started school. And I'm going to say nobody's really talking about that. So I think these are a lot of plans rather than maybe strategies.
Okay. And still with Harry, his memoir is coming out in paperback?
Yep. Spare is coming out. It's coming out October 22nd in North America. And 2 things about that. So if 22 months after the hardcover was a massive bestseller around the world, no changes are being made to the content, which I'm going to say is a bit surprising considering it's that long.
Usually they update it, right?
Usually they always put updates. So maybe this is a sign that he wants to have, he doesn't want to ruffle any more feathers that he's already ruffled. The other thing is the price. So I was on the publisher's website, paperback, no changes, $29. You can get a hard copy Spare online at a discounter for less than $10. I'm saying go that way.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, Meghan has apparently returned to her influencer roots, reportedly investing in at least 10 different brands.
Yeah, so 5 or 10 brands. They're not quite sure. So this came out. She gave an interview to the New York Times just after their Colombia trip. And I'm going to say on that trip, I was noticing she had some amazing bags, some fabulous bags. And everything she, does becomes a bestseller around the world. These are by Sesta Collective, and they're handmade by a collective of women in Rwanda. So it's a worthy cause. And she's decided, because she, her style sets fashion, she's going to invest in these small little firms and help them grow.
Okay. All right. Finally, there was a royal wedding in Norway this weekend.
There was.
Okay.
And her name is Princess Martha Louise. And when we talk about controversial royal spares, she is absolutely the trailblazer. So even before Harry. So she had to give up all royal duties. She can't use her royal title for commercial purposes. She is a great believer in alternative healing. She says she's a clairvoyant. And she married a Californian. His name is Dirk Verrett over the weekend. He says he's a shaman and very controversial as well. He said that cancer was a choice, so which explains why there is a little bit of a oomph about this. But they've been together for 5 years. They're very happy. They're in love. They wanted to get married, so the royal family just kind of gulped and said, "Okay, family is family. We will be there. We will know how things went because they sold the pictures." So, yeah. So definitely a trailblazer in the whole controversial spare issue.
All right. Well, we will have to leave it there for now. Good to see you here on a Tuesday, Patricia. Thank you for this.